It's testing time again in schools, and if you are like most parents, this can feel really overwhelming. So I want to break down exactly what these assessments are and a few other things about the types of assessments your kids might be encountering. I'm Shannon Dodd. I'm a reading specialist with over 30 years of educational experience, and I am here for parents to help you bring clarity around your child's reading. So when we are talking about assessments, everybody always automatically goes to test. And while that is sometimes true, it's not always true. An assessment is really just data collection. It's assessing how a person, how a child in this instance, is performing on a particular task. It doesn't have to be a test. It can be a number of things. So let's talk about the different types of assessments that are very typical in schools. So you've got screeners, diagnostics, summatives, formatives, and then you've got standardized tests. And that falls into two buckets. So let's start at the beginning. So screeners and diagnostics. So these are given to students who they need to figure out if intervention is necessary. So a screener is typically given to a broader group, and it's just like it sounds. It screens kids. It sort of puts them in the yes, we need to look further, or no, they're fine, leave them as is. So a screener is just sort of putting kids into one of two buckets to know if they need to look more closely. A diagnostic is that closer look. A diagnostic assessment is going to dive deeply into understanding specifically what skills your child has and what skills they might be needing to build or bolster. Then we get to summatives and formatives. These are the ones that we typically see in the instructional day in a classroom. So formative assessments, they inform the teacher. They inform instruction, they inform the teacher, all of these things. These are the assessments in particular that might not look like a test. So this can be any type of task. It can be verbal responses to questions during class time. It can be written responses to questions. It can be a piece that they've written. It can be an exit ticket. If you don't spend a lot of time in schools, exit tickets are just things that kids sort of show, a way that they show the teacher that they learned what it is they were trying to teach them. So formatives inform. They inform the teacher so that it can inform the instruction, so that a teacher can sort of pivot. He or she can make the decision to reteach something. They can choose to go back and dive a little bit deeper. They can choose to move a little faster if their students are getting things a lot faster than they anticipated. A summative sums up learning. So a summative is going to be something that typically your child will take at the end of a week or the end of a unit, where a teacher is looking to see what did the student or child learn to sum up a particular unit, concept, bit of information. Then we get into standardized tests. So standardized tests are put into two classifications. We either look at norm referenced or we look at criterion referenced. So this is really important. Most standardized tests are norm referenced. So your child's score will come home and you'll see a word like percentile. What that means with norm referenced is that your child's performance is being compared to other children their age and grade level. So with norm reference, we're looking at norms across an age group or grade level. The reason that this is not my favorite way to look at a child's performance is because it's based on how other kids are performing. And we know that our country is in a reading crisis. So where really almost 70% of our kids are not reading proficiently. So this idea of comparing my kid to a bunch of other kids, if we know most of them aren't reading proficiently, and yeah, my kid might be reading better than most, but it doesn't mean they're where they need to be. This brings us to criterion referenced. So with criterion referenced assessments, instead of measuring student performance among other students, we're measuring their performance against a particular criteria. In most states, this is going to be the state standards. It's going to be a set of standards that your state has decided these children need to know before they leave this grade level. And assessments are designed to look at whether or not they have met that criteria. That's a criterion reference. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to pass the grade. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But I just want you to understand the different types of assessments. So again, screeners, diagnostics, formatives, summatives, standardized. And then inside of standardized, you've got norm referenced and you've got criterion referenced. Come back for part 2 on this, and I'm going to break down the type of assessment that I conduct with students.